memories rush up, threatening to overwhelm the girl's chest as her fingers brush against someone's arm. She's never met this person before, but the touch feels eerily familiar. It's as if a century ago, or 1,000, or maybe even 1,000,000 years ago. Something inside her whispers that she should pull away, but curiosity keeps her still, tugging her toward the stranger's rugged jawline. They're in a garden, surrounded by unfamiliar trees, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. Sunlight filtering through gaps between the branches casts dappled shadows on the ground, making it seem like the world has been turned over in its sleep. It's beautiful, yet cold, and it's making her think of stories her grandmother used to tell, stories of memory and nostalgia, of the delicate balance between forgetting and remembering. A sharp scent wafts through the air, transporting her to a different place entirely. It's like someone poured a vial of heavy, dark smoke into her soul. She rolls her eyes, concentrating on the touch now, but it's not from the stranger. It's not even from her own hand, even though that feels incredibly off. A tiny itch in the back of her head tickles, making the hairs stand on end. For an instant, memories flood the scene in pictures, a moving collage. The faces around her blur, but it's a gentle blurring, like the paintings of old masters her mother talked about. She gets a whispered phrase, what sounds like "oh," carried away by an acacia tree's branches. When the recollections fade, she remembers snippets about lives lived, bridges built and rivers crossed. Life experiences with no dates attached hang her mind suspended between joy and torment. The world, now solid, splits and spreads apart, casting the entire scene into darkness. What? Someone the girl can't tell who whispers, with soft breath against her ear. The warmth seeps into her skin as it suddenly gets harder to watch the person beside her step forward. She watches, dumbfounded, as the stranger approaches someone across the space, where the world re-establishes itself, crystal clear. It is no stranger now. She's looking into the face of her guardian, one who took care of her in everything except the unknown life she leads now. "Lie to me," the voice, unharsh but stern, asks the world before returning to her without embellishment. She bends down, out of sight, though something deep inside her tenses up as questions accumulate, demanding answers that refuse to surface on this night under shimmering stars and moonlit shadows. Her eyes lift up, seeking out the man's, searching for a glimmer of deception, but his expression remains inscrutable. The calmness is almost unnerving, a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing within her. She feels the urge to clarify the unspoken obligation, to reclaim ownership of the memories that have been hers for so long. The air is heavy with the scent of wet stone, the taste bitter in her mouth. The world is tilting, a precarious balance between the past and the present. The rustling of leaves echoes through the garden, a reminder of the fragile connection that binds them together. His eyes seem to bore into hers, the intensity palatable. It's a challenge, a gauntlet thrown, and she feels a surge of defiance rising within her. The question, "Lie to me," is just a starting point, a prompt to unravel the hidden histories she's begun to piece together. She nods, a hesitant smile twisting her lips. The guardian takes a step closer, his eyes clouded by 1,000 unspoken questions. The moon casts long shadows behind him, as if darkness is trying to reclaim the space between. The sound of distant water grows louder, a mocking reminder of the unknown roads that lie ahead. "Come with me," the guard's voice is firm, but there's a hint of hesitation that betrays the man beneath. The stranger steps back, allowing the woman to take a step forward without being told. He offers no reassurance, no words of comfort. The silence is suffocating, each breath a weighted step forward into the unknown. She follows the man, the sounds around her crystallizing into recognizable patterns, raindrops crashing against the stone walls, the snapping of twigs as they step through a thicket of silver-leaf trees. A fleeting glimpse of the world's past escapes her, a sketch of river and mountain, of civilizations risen and fallen. She feels like a sculptor carving an uncarved marble, creating a path that will change the world's course. Each step forward seems to split the life into multiple parallel universes. Shadows dance around her, revealing moments born of longing, lost loves and forsaken dreams. Other versions of herself exist in these parallel worlds, parallel lives for every choice made. She understands now why her memories seem so fractured, the echoes within whispering the unwise choice, one that would shatter worlds. "This is where we must part," the stranger says, a slow, careful turn rendering them opposite each side of the stone wall. She recognizes the path to the river now, its outline inscribed on the mountain peaks above, an unseen bridge connecting their two different worlds. They stand under the misread glow of neon pines, the guardian unyielding in his resolve. The last note of something love or time gets stuck in the throat. It's the choice, the right choice or the worst. It resounds in her memories like the moment when water ripples over stones inescapably, each ripple telling a story. As their fingers brush together once more, this recognition conjures a fear of losing all that is yet to be discovered. With an almost firm motion, she touches his chest. Memories rush up, threatening to overwhelm the girl's chest as her fingers brush against someone's arm. She's never met this person before, but the touch feels eerily familiar. It's as if a century ago, or 1,000, or maybe even 1,000,000 years ago. Something inside her whispers that she should pull away, but curiosity keeps her still, tugging her toward the stranger's rugged jawline. They're in a garden, surrounded by unfamiliar trees, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. Sunlight filtering through gaps between the branches casts dappled shadows on the ground, making it seem like the world has been turned over in its sleep. It's beautiful, yet cold, and it's making her think of stories her grandmother used to tell, stories of memory and nostalgia, of the delicate balance between forgetting and remembering. A sharp scent wafts through the air, transporting her to a different place entirely. It's like someone poured a vial of heavy, dark smoke into her soul. She rolls her eyes, concentrating on the touch now, but it's not from the stranger. It's not even from her own hand, even though that feels incredibly off. A tiny itch in the back of her head tickles, making the hairs stand on end. For an instant, memories flood the scene in pictures, a moving collage. The faces around her blur, but it's a gentle blurring, like the paintings of old masters her mother talked about. She gets a whispered phrase, what sounds like "oh," carried away by an acacia tree's branches. When the recollections fade, she remembers snippets about lives lived, bridges built and rivers crossed. Life experiences with no dates attached hang her mind suspended between joy and torment. The world, now solid, splits and spreads apart, casting the entire scene into darkness. What? Someone the girl can't tell who whispers, with soft breath against her ear. The warmth seeps into her skin as it suddenly gets harder to watch the person beside her step forward. She watches, dumbfounded, as the stranger approaches someone across the space, where the world reestablishes itself, crystal clear. It is no stranger now. She's looking into the face of her guardian, one who took care of her in everything except the unknown life she leads now. Lie to me. The voice, unharsh but stern, asks the world before returning to her without embellishment. She bends down, out of sight, though something deep inside her tenses up as questions accumulate, demanding answers that refuse to surface on this night under shimmering stars and moonlit shadows. The figure's gaze lingers, as if savoring the reaction now unfolding before it. Each person's eyes darts, searching for answers about what they're supposed to remember. Some seem torn between nostalgia and dread, while others appear paralyzed, unable to articulate a single thought. A young girl's hand reaches out, as if instinctively seeking comfort, though her eyes remain fixed on the figure with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Memories, both fond and painful, begin to flood the group's minds, their collective silence now punctuated by faint whispers of past events and forgotten laughter. As the girl rises from her crouched position, her eyes snap to the guardian, her mind still reeling from the sudden memories. The guardian's expression remains unreadable, but a flicker of recognition dances in their eyes. They take a step closer, their voice low and measured. You were given a choice, child. You chose me over everything else. Her grip on the guardian's worn leather arm tightens, her breath short and panicked. Why did you show me this? That my guardian couldn't lie to me? The guardian's eyes are now in direct contact, their gaze like an anchor, pulling her toward the truth. Because the time for questions is over. The time for silence is also ending. You have memories, memories from before being born. There's an unspoken assumption in their voice that the girl's very existence depends on her understanding. She must connect the dots, but her memories are as elusive as wisps of smoke. Or maybe they're meant to be. The darkness teeters on the edge of the world's boundaries, pressing down on her with an oppressive weight, but she's been driven by a fierce reckoning, and it only grows stronger with each passing moment. We're running out of time, the guardian's voice cracks, echoing softly through the night air. For us all, the night seekers will not be silenced for long. Their pushback is getting stronger for both of you, and for the world you live in. She feels a tingle in her fingers when she stretches them out towards the sky, her palms mirroring the shimmering moonbeams above. The guardian's grip tightens in her hand, an unspoken trust and understanding growing between them. You need to remember, the Guardian continues, their voice wrapped tightly. The Night Seekers, the children of dawn, this complicated fight. The last, remaining echo that whispers hope inside the silence means the world's vast horizons glow brighter, reflected across the swirling clouds like a star rising high into the sky. She slowly gets to her feet, her eyes fixed on the figure standing a few steps ahead. The question, as if it never left her lips, hangs in the air like a challenge, and her hands feel heavy at her sides. The woman's voice, a low rumble, weaves a path of consequences throughout her mind like 1,000 threads tied to an ancient loom. The world seems to lean in, as if willing her to put words to the question. Unspoken, and yet crystal clear. The stranger, unaware of the silent exchange taking place between them, continues toward an unseen destination, the world beyond receding into the shadows. A figure does emerge, an ancient face with lines as deep as the night sky and eyes cast toward the moon like an open book. The passage of time echoes through its ancient soul. Every word that comes from her mouth sounds clear and honest, weighed down with the weight of truth but urgent and necessary. The Guardian steps closer, forming an unspoken bond that seems unbreakable when voices need to align their unshifted eyes with distant stars. Beyond the garden walls lies the world she's never understood through tales her guardian used to tell, words written like patterns in her palm as a whispered wisdom that would keep the past from drowning her. The moon casts shadows, and their silhouettes dance against the windows, watching the movements of those within or witnessing the tears she's shedding, unseen tears, for the woman wasn't there to comprehend the weight her questions weigh upon. An answer she craves escapes through others, always eluding, but a sense materializes that might contain new secrets when she tells her story. She whispers questions to herself like ancient prayers and echoes away her doubts like forgotten songs. But when she completes the statement, "I remember," the story stays with her. These have left her room forever, as with stones rolled away into the darkness, for all what she remembers to mean. Memories rush up, threatening to overwhelm the group's chests as they struggle to comprehend the truth. Some seem torn between nostalgia and dread, while others appear frozen, their faces a picture of confusion and fear. A young boy's eyes dart back and forth, searching for what's real, his small voice barely above a whisper, "How are you, our guardian?" The oldest-looking person, with lines etched deep on their face, steps forward, their eyes locked on the girls. "They're mine," they say, their voice low and commanding, yet laced with a deep sadness. The group falls silent, awaiting answers, but the stranger's words only fuel their questions. "How do you know us?" the father asks, his brow furrowed in concern, while his wife's eyes seem to search for a hidden truth. The girl's gaze remains fixed on the old man, trying to comprehend the depths of his pain, the lines that told a story of loss and struggle. The woman's hand, once reaching out for comfort, now claps hers together, a nervous habit seemingly at odds with the overwhelming emotions. The air around them thickens with an unseen tension, each person's heart pounding in their chest like a drumbeat, each one searching for a lifeline, a glimmer of hope. The silence, an unlikely ally, remains unbroken until the girl finally breaks the spell. "Who are you?" the young boy asks, his small voice small, amidst the collective cacophony of questions that have filled their minds. The guardian's eyes, red-rimmed and worn, brim with tears as they meet the boy's eyes. "I am Enir," they reply, their voice barely above a whisper. The guard's words bring an unsettling calm, their features well-worn like leather that has been wrapped and unwrapped countless times. The family mother, father, and young children wait for more explanations, hoping to find solace in Enir's words. The world seems to have shifted on its axis, revealing a tangled web of memory that has haunted their dreams for years. Then, just as they were starting to grasp the truth, more questions arise, pushing the boundaries of comprehension. Who is the stranger among them, bearing secrets that the elderly guardian may now choose to disclose? What is this place, where the past and present collide? In the eerie silence that follows Enir's halting words, a person stirs on the periphery of perception, sensing there's a masterful pull. What if their recollected memories aren't the only truth? What if Enir, and perhaps others, are the gatekeepers to deeper, concealed realities that only the cosmos will reveal? The world slips into stillness once again. The girl's voice trembles as she finally speaks. I don't know what you're telling me, or why I'm remembering this, or who we are." Her guardian's gaze meets hers, filled with a deep sadness. "You don't remember, you never have, but today's memories are real. They're yours, and mine." The garden, once alive with color and scent, now stands barren and lifeless. The shadows seem to twist and writhe like living things. "Why am I here?" the girl asks, her voice barely audible. Her guardian's expression softens. "This is the nexus, the confluence of all memories. You're here because your memories are connected to mine, in ways you can't begin to comprehend. We've been guardians of this nexus for centuries, keeping the memories contained, protecting them from those who would misuse them." The girl's eyes widen in shock. "Centuries? How long has it been?" "Ever since the dawn of time," her guardian replies. "And now, for reasons you'll soon understand, you must continue our legacy." Suddenly, the world around them shimmers and distorts, as if reality itself is unraveling. The girl's memories surge back, a tidal wave of images and emotions. She sees a figure, tall and imposing, with eyes that burn with an otherworldly intensity. She feels a sense of power and fury, but also of sorrow and loss. "What's happening?" the girl cries out, her voice lost in the maelstrom of memories. Her guardian's face sets in a determined expression. "It's begun. The amnesiac has awakened, and with him, a threat to the very fabric of reality. We must defend the nexus and all its memories." As the world around them dissolves into chaos, the girl feels herself being drawn into the heart of the nexus. She sees the amnesiac and knows that she must confront him. She must remember who she is and what she was born to do. With a fierce determination burning within her, the girl raises her head and looks into her guardian's eyes. "I remember now," she says, her voice steady and strong. In that moment, the world around them stabilizes, and a sense of peace settles over the nexus. The girl's memories continue to shift and flow, but now they're no longer a jumbled mass. She sees herself as a guardian, just like her guardian, and knows that she must take up the mantle and defend the nexus against all who would seek to harm it. The amnesiac's power surges through the nexus, threatening to break its defenses. But the girl stands tall, ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead. She draws a deep breath and opens her eyes, gazing out into the unknown. Her guardian smiles, a small, triumphant smile. "Welcome to your true life," her guardian says, his voice full of pride. As the darkness recedes, revealing the vast expanse of the universe, the girl knows that her journey has just begun. She is no longer just a girl with memories. She is a guardian of the nexus and a defender of reality itself. But even as she stands strong, ready to face whatever lies ahead, the girl feels a sense of unease. A sense that there are still secrets waiting to be uncovered, and that her journey will take her far beyond the reach of the nexus. And in the shadows, just beyond the edge of perception, a faint whispering grows louder, a soft, insistent chanting that seems to come from all directions at once. "Yes, yes, the gateway is open." The girl's heart skips a beat as she realizes that the nexus and her memories are connected to something greater, something that its guardians may not be aware of, or have warned her about. With a quiet determination, the girl charges forward, without knowing what lies in her path.